Well, hi everybody, it's Ezra Levant. It's May 6th, and this is my daily noon hour chit-chat live show, super stream, live stream, fancy pants thing where you can ask me anything you like, show some videos, talk about the news. I don't do it every day. My friends Sheila Gunn-Reid and David Menzies do it Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I gotta tell you today, at our staff meeting, we came up with the concept of a new show, and it is so good. I can barely restrain myself from letting the cat out of the bag, but I want to have a more proper introduction to it. A picture or like a logo for it, and probably email people out. But every day we've been doing this live stream super chat about generic news of the day that doesn't fit into our other shows, little video clips, little social media things. And I use it just to talk things through for my 8 p.m. show. One of the things that's so fun is that it's interactive. It's like the 21st century equivalent of a radio call-in show. I love doing radio call-in shows. It's been a couple years since I've hosted one. It's the calls that make it fun. It's the callers with quirky tips or quirky ideas or news you didn't know, or making a point that you forgot, or just telling you a story of real life. You can never imagine how interesting reality can be. Your own imagination. I don't care if you're Steven Spielberg, your own imagination can't even touch the wondrous nature of the real world. And that's why I love talk radio. And the super chat is the 21st century equivalent of it. And as you know, because a lot of you join us every day, if you make a super chat, that's a fancy way of making a regular chat. You chip in a few bucks, your comment is highlighted in bright colors, appended to the top of the comments box there, and we get 70% of the revenues. So it helps us stay strong. And I should tell you that David and Sheila consistently get more super chats than me. My feelings aren't hurt by that. I just wonder, what am I doing wrong? I don't think I have an inferiority complex. It's just, how can I improve? Like, I'm looking for an opportunity to be better at this. I enjoy watching Sheila and David, but I try and get other work done because that's one of the reasons they do it Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's May 6th. Donald Trump retweeted his classic Cinco de Mayo tweet yesterday. Can you find that? It may be one of the top 10 Donald Trump tweets of all time. And that's a risky thing to say because there's so many amazing Donald Trump tweets. Every day you just think, wow, we're living in wondrous times. But the Cinco de Mayo tweet that Trump tweeted, I think it was back in 2016, was just so perfect. And it was so great. Happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanics. And there he is, that big smile. That doesn't look bad, that taco bowl. And what's the date on it? Scroll down a little more. Yeah, May 5th, 2000, does that say 2016? So this was he was ramping up the campaign. And just the different elements of it, it's almost like a haiku. Go up a little bit. Happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanics. That's a haiku. In fact, is that the 575 syllable? Happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanics. I think that's a haiku. 3 thoughts that are sort of connected, that are also totally not connected. Cinco de Mayo isn't really about Taco Bells, and he just has to let you know that the best taco bowls are in Trump Tower. And in case you're wondering what this is all about, he loves Hispanics. And look at that smile. He means it, folks. I'd eat that for lunch. That's a great tweet. I wonder, it looks like a golf award behind him there on the windowsill. Yeah, he retweeted that again yesterday because he also knows that's a classic. Now the 4th of May, because if you say it May 4th, it sounds a little bit like the catchphrase from the Star Wars movie, "May the Force be with you." That's a shtick in Star Wars for those of you who aren't Star Wars fans. May the Force be with you. So that's sort of been adopted as like a Star Wars day. May 4th, May the 4th, May the Force. So in Lethbridge, Alberta, a wonderful community in the southern part of the province, great people. I love Lethbridge. I love the drive from Calgary to Lethbridge. I love how you go south. I don't know if you know the map of Alberta. The Rocky Mountains are at a diagonal. They go from the west to the east as you go south. So as you drive south of Calgary, the Rockies get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. I tell you, some of those parts down there, Cardston, just type in Cardston scenery. You know, you head on down south, Longview, Turner Valley, Black Diamond. You go way farther south, Cardston, the Mormon temple there. I mean, everyone loves where they grew up, but I grew up in southern Alberta, and in my mind, Longview, Coaldale, these are some of the most beautiful places in the world. I don't know, it's just my opinion. Look at that. You can see that, look how large those Rocky Mountains loom. Is that, so what's that, what is that, a shot of Cardston? Yeah, that's the Mormon temple there. Can you just give me a shot of Longview? You know, I mean, imagine a place called Longview. I mean, just think about the word. It's unbelievably perfect. I just want to share with you where I grew up. I mean, I grew up north of that. I grew up west of Calgary. But I would go down to Longview, Turner Valley, Sheep River Falls all the time. And the Cross Preserve. Look at that. Oh, my God. That is exactly what it's like. So that's where I'm from. So Lethbridge is not too far away from there. I mean, Lethbridge is probably an hour away. Good people. And so there's some store there called Cocoa Vanilla or something. I don't even know what they are. Never heard of it till yesterday. And it's May the 4th, so they have someone outside dressed like a stormtrooper. Give me a stock photo of a stormtrooper. Everyone knows what a stormtrooper is, but for the 1% of people who don't know what a stormtrooper is, let me show you. It's a fictitious army in Star Wars. They're the bad guys. They're always sort of goofy. They have terrible aim. They're sort of mean, but they don't look that mean. The uniforms are white. Yeah, that's a stormtrooper. And, you know, it's also a disguise because you're wearing a mask. So one of the things is you can be a good guy pretending to be a stormtrooper. Anyway, so I just Googled Cocoa Vanilla Galactic Cantina. It looks like a restaurant that serves food in a with a theme there. Can you Google Cocoa Vanilla Galactic Cantina? I don't even know what kind of place it is. It looks like a little restaurant. Yeah, just go to the Google entry for Cocoa Vanilla. On their sign, they have Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, and does that say Funko? I don't even know what that last word is. You just go to the Google restaurant entry. So it looks sort of cool. I'm looking in the Google, just the Google entry for Cocoa, C-O-C-O, Vanilla. Yeah, just click on that thing on the right, on the far right there. Yeah, click on that image. Okay, so go back, and then click on the actual image on the far right there. When you do Cocoa Vanilla, I just want to show you the kind of place it is. So exactly what you were doing there. Yeah, so you see that sign? You can see the Marvel logo and the Star Wars logo and Disney. So this place isn't hiding that it's sort of like a costume, cosplay as the kids say. Scroll down on the left there. So you can see it's got sort of pub food. There's some fries and some pizza. It doesn't look great, and that looks like some sort of burrito, I think. And more pizza. But scroll down a bit because they show the inside of it. Looks sort of cool, I think. Are those bales of hay? I don't know. I'd go in there. I wouldn't have high expectations, but if you have kids, you'd probably go in there. It looks like those might be Star Wars collectibles, Marvel collectibles. So it's a shtick. It looks like it's a restaurant, but if you're into fantasy movies and stuff, like that's not a great looking pizza, let's be honest, but you're not going there for the fine Italian cuisine. You're going there for the Star Wars stuff, right? If I lived in Lethbridge and you have kids of a certain age, absolutely. They'd say, Dad, can we go to Coco Vanilla for pizza? Galactic Cantina. The reason I take the time to show you that is because it's interesting. And I want you to know that anyone who is looking around Lethbridge like a police on patrol would know about Coco Vanilla. I don't know about it because I live here in exile in Toronto, and I haven't been to Lethbridge in a couple of years, actually. So I didn't know about Coco Vanilla, but if you're a cop and you're patrolling in Lethbridge, which is not that big a city, you've probably heard of Coco Vanilla. So if someone is dressed up as a stormtrooper, standing outside Coco Vanilla, which specializes in sort of cosplay stuff, dressed like a stormtrooper with a laser blaster, you could probably be sure it's just some promotion for Coco Vanilla on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Well, let me show you what Lethbridge's finest did to, I think it's a young gal, like a teenage girl or something, I think, I don't know her age, who was dressed up as a stormtrooper outside the Star Wars pizza shop. Take a look at this.
This Canadian police.
It's a plastic gun. Are you serious?
Shit, that's a girl, man. Fuck. Yo, fuck this bitch. He's got the fucking shotguns. Why?
Closed area. Stay back. Let's go. Seriously.
This is Canada. We don't have guns in Canada.
If you record us, go record us, but don't come approaching us. Stay back there like everybody else.
Okay, but this is Canada. That's not a gun. It's a plastic gun. I could buy that at the dollar store.
You're gonna get arrested if you interfere here. Stay back.
Oh, okay. Oh, so when? Oh, okay. This is the United States of America. Yeah, that's Donald Trump and his people. They're fucking cops. Oh my god, are you serious? A plastic gun? Okay, in Canada we don't have guns. That's plastic. I should have took it. I should have took it right away. Stupid cops. Get arrested for a plastic gun. Oh, what a fucking dick. Okay, whatever. Nothing's. Bro, I thought she was promoting here.
She is promoting here. This is fucking ridiculous.
She works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking costume.
Tell her she's my employee and you guys are gonna freaking get charged. Go tell him
Well, we're
that.
definitely gonna hear from a lawyer. That's for sure.
Tell her. tell her she's my employee. I thought she was resigned. I never even seen this place till now. Coco Vanilla, Galactics is gonna. What do you guys do here?
We're a restaurant, man.
It says Marvel, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is she Star Wars? Or Star Trek? I don't know, man. Anyways, that costume's awesome. Where did she get that? That's at least $1,000 for that costume. Like, it's all hard body. Okay, fine, bye. Anyways, see ya.
Can you call up the Lethbridge tweet, the one that I replied to? So ignore the inane commentary from that street urchin who recorded it and listen to my inane commentary instead. It's got nothing to do with Donald Trump. I don't know what that commentary was about. But what else did you hear? Well, you heard the girl crying very early, didn't you? How long? That clip was a couple minutes. There were at least 2 police cars, at least 3 police. And did you see the barrel of the gun that one of the police had when he came over to tell the guy recording on his phone to back off? Yeah, I would think so too. Reports say that that young girl had her nose bloodied. And how long were they with her before they realized it was a laser blaster? So they show up at the Star Wars restaurant and there's someone dressed as a Star Wars alien and she's got a laser gun and they take her down and they smash her face and they give her a bloody nose. And you heard her wailing. I frankly was grossed out by the restaurant owner too, who was not intervening at all, was not calling anything out, was not saying a word, was standing in his own doorway. And when the street urchin said, you know, what's going on? Oh, definitely going to hear from a lawyer. First of all, I doubt it. I doubt it. Any restaurant owner who couldn't be bothered to even say a word in real time to the cops, say, hey, she's just dressed in a costume. Hey, that's just a girl dressed in a costume. Hey, it's a laser gun. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, can I help? Hey, can I explain? Hey, she's with us. We're a Star Wars store. Hey, stop roughing her up. I have to say that Coco Vanilla restaurateur is a coward. I take back my earlier comment that I would go there if I was in Lethbridge. I would go there only to call the owner a coward. Who has a young girl dressed up in a costume like a space warrior, and when the real cops come and rough her up and give her a bloody nose, he just stands there silently? I don't use the word cuck a lot, and it's not technically appropriate here, but what a cuck. Just sitting there while the cops play tough guy with his young employee, and he's just fine. Oh, they're definitely gonna hear from a lawyer. Don't lie. If you couldn't lift a finger for free in the moment, don't tell me you're gonna spend $1,000 to hear what from the lawyer? What you couldn't say? That she obviously isn't a real stormtrooper, there really isn't a dark side of the Force. Darth Vader is just a mythical character? Unbelievable. So Lethbridge Police, did you find the Lethbridge Police tweet? So they tweeted this: Lethbridge Police Service has initiated a service investigation into the actions of several officers who responded to a report of a firearms complaint Monday morning. A public update will be provided after the investigation has been completed and reviewed. Does that accurately describe what happened? Some officers responded to the report of a firearms complaint. Is that what we observed? Or did we see 3+ cops rough up a girl, give her a bloody nose, and keep at it despite her crying for minutes and minutes? Oh, no, that's just a firearms complaint. I tell you, I should call up that girl and actually offer her a lawyer to actually sue the cops instead of relying on her cuck restaurant manager boss who sat there passively while his employee was roughed up by the cops. What a disgrace that owner is. I'm mad at him. I'm mad at the cops, obviously. But who was watching the whole thing? Frankly, I'll take the inane commentary from the street urchin over the passivity and the lies of the restaurant. I'm mad about that. There's some super chats. Let me get to them. Ian Houston, £2. How is Shalomi Tommy? He's great, mate. In fact, we were just talking the other day. He was kicked off of TikTok, unfortunately. That Chinese-owned app has become woke, just like its Western counterpart. So I think he's on something called VK, which is the Russian version of Facebook. I don't think VK is going to bend the knee to social justice warriors, but we'll see. Same guy in Houston, another £2. How is Shalomi Tommy, Ezra? Second super chat. Thank you, Ian. I've never called him Shalomi Tommy, but he is a friend of the Jews, so I'll take that compliment. And then your third note, which tells me it's perhaps not a compliment. How is Shalomi Tommy, Tommy Robinson, Mr. Grifter? Well, I don't think he's a grifter. I think he's a crowdfunder who has paid for the police persecution against him, paid for it with his time and with parts of his life. He was imprisoned several times falsely. That's not my opinion. That's the opinion of the Court of Appeal of the UK. And whereas political activists of the left get their legals paid for by lawyers acting pro bono or by various left-wing civil liberties groups, conservatives have to crowdfund their own legal defense, and that's what Tommy did. The great thing about that is you don't have to pay for it if you don't want to. I'll take your money in super chats instead, so you can ask me about Shalomi Tommy all day for £2 a pop. Proud Boys Calgary, $7. I checked the gun ban list. The Imperial Stormtrooper E11 blaster rifle ain't there. It's funny, but that is not funny at all. That girl is going to be messed up for a while. And shame on that owner, Coco Van. I was so excited about that restaurant when I was poking around on Google Maps there, wasn't I? But what a loser the owner is. Communist China, CCP, Delenda S. That's a great way to end any tweet. Michael Nichols, $21. A pathetic and disgusting display from thugs with batches. You know, I got to tell you, and I find myself having to say this quite a bit. I like cops. I always have. I like most cops. I think most police are the good guys. But I tell you, it's hard to take that point of view when you see things like we just saw. Now, I'm a big believer in body cams that cops wear, because I think most of the accusations against cops are fake, because people correctly know that the media is anti-cop, so any allegation against cops is going to be believed by the media, and by the time the cops get their side of the story out there, the lie's gone around the world. In the era of body cameras, cops can have the full story and they can have it out pretty quickly, and not only does that show what really happens, it puts the suspects on their best behavior, because they see the body camera, they say, oh, I won't make a fuss, I won't lie. And I think it puts the cops on their best behavior, because they know that there's a recording of their footage. If I'm not mistaken, Jussie Smollett, the liar in Chicago, asked the cops to turn off their body cameras or something before he lied to them. I think that's accurate recollection. So I'm a huge fan of body cameras. I'd like to see the body camera footage of the Lethbridge police there. What did the girls say? We saw what the guy on the street started recording. What was the first moment? What did the cops say? I'd like to find out. I wonder if we can get that information. I might try and reach out to that girl, because I know that her boss, manager, restaurateur there isn't going to do anything. He wouldn't do anything when it counted. He's certainly not going to do anything later that would cost him money with a lawyer. We, on the other hand, have lots of lawyers, and we like to help. Cheeky Wiki, €5. Thank you very much for the euros. Appreciate that. Are there any other super chats I'm missing? No, I think I'm caught up. I'm mad at that. I'm just mad. All right, so we talked about the Star Wars. I want to show you something else. There's a phrase that we use. don't bring the administration of justice into disrepute. The administration of justice into disrepute. That's sort of highfalutin language, but it means that the law, the courts, the police, the way the government acts, the way the law acts, should not disgrace the law, because the law depends on its good reputation. The law in a free society only works if the vast majority of us abide by it voluntarily and willingly. And that it's essential that the law is reputable to maintain that public support. Otherwise, people will just scoff at the laws. That's happening now. Can we grab some of those New York Police Department union tweets? And the police know it, at least some of them do. My favorite police force, the New York Police Department, probably the best police force in the world. Outstanding counterterrorism police force. Their counterterrorism force is equivalent to that of most countries. Because of course New York, first of all, has 8.5 million people. Second of all, it is a target. It was the key target on 9/11. So they take counterterrorism very seriously. And they take policing very seriously. And the police have just decided they're not going to be the tools of that idiot Bill de Blasio anymore. And they're not going to run around handing out social distancing fines. Can you click that image? I'm going to, so the New York City, let me read this. So this is from the New York City Police Benevolent Association, I think. I think that's what PBA stands for. So that's the cop union. PBA President Patrick J. Lynch said, "This situation is untenable. The NYPD needs to get cops out of the social distancing enforcement business altogether. The cowards who run this city," that's quite tough talk for a cop. "The cowards who run this city have given us nothing but vague guidelines and mixed messages, leaving the cops on the street corners to fend for ourselves. Nobody has a right to interfere with the police action, but now that the inevitable backlash has arrived, they are once again throwing us under the bus. Meanwhile, those same politicians are still watering down our laws, releasing real criminals and discouraging proactive enforcement of fare evasion and quality of life issues. As a result, our subways are in chaos, and we have hero nurses getting mugged on their way to our hospitals. As the weather heats up and the pandemic continues to unravel our social fabric, police officers should be allowed to focus on our core public safety mission. If we don't, the city will fall apart before our eyes." That is bracing. That's the head of the New York City Cop Union. And he's got a series of tweets like that, like a lot of them. I mean, I don't need to parse or interpret that for you. You can figure that out. He says, "We're not running damn fool errands for politicians who change what they say every day. Vague, what does it mean? They themselves break the rules. We're not going to go around telling people to be 6 feet apart from each other. We're going to focus on law and order. Maybe the politicians should stop emptying out the prisons too." Oh, common sense. I like that. I like that. I've seen that in other places too. I think it's Houston that we've seen the police union say the same thing, saying we're just not doing, there's some crazy judge down there in Houston ordering all sorts of shenanigans, and the cops are saying, "Yeah, you and what army?" I like that independence of the police force. I really like that. I want to show you a video, also from Texas. I mentioned Houston. And this is a woman who apparently has a hair salon, and she's broke. And she needs to get some money to feed her kids. So she went and cut someone's hair, and she was sentenced to 7 days in prison for it. Here, take a look at her bantering with the judge. Take a look.
Proceed.
Judge, I would like to say that I have much respect for this court and laws, and that I've never been in this position before, and it's not some place that I want to be. But I have to disagree with you, sir, when you say that I'm selfish, because feeding my kids is not selfish. I have hairstylists that are going hungry because they'd rather feed their kids. So, sir, if you think the law is more important than kids getting fed, then please go ahead with your decision, but I am not going to shut the salon.
Now, I believe in the rule of law. I believe that we can't all just follow the laws we like and disagree with the laws we don't. But like I say, you can't bring the administration of law of justice into disrepute from itself. There's an old saying, the law is an ass. As in, don't do it. Hey, judge, don't do it. Don't send someone to jail for 7 days because they're trying to feed their kids. Don't do it. Dallas salon owner gets 7 days in jail for reopening during coronavirus lockdown. A judge had harsh words for Shelley Luther, owner of the salon on Lamode, and its corporate entity, Hot Mess Enterprises, calling the move flagrant and intentional. Yeah, she flagrantly and intentionally wanted to feed her family and those of her staff, and she was very polite. I don't know how much a judge in Dallas makes. I'm pretty sure it's in the 6 figures. I wonder how long that judge would go without getting paid before he started getting a little antsy. If someone's for the shutdown, I'd say there's a 99% chance they've been paid this whole time. Maybe they've been paid not to work. A lot of teachers, a lot of university professors. You think the university professors aren't being paid? Of course they are. Do you think the social justice warriors who inhabit academia, bureaucracies, you don't think they're being paid? Of course they're being paid. The people who don't want to go back to work are the ones who are being paid anyways. I wonder how long that judge would go without his 6-figure salary before saying, all right, time to get back to work. Some more super chats coming in. MVP, $5 Australian. The Rebel are doing a great deed by helping people unfairly fined for not social distancing. Thank you. Cheeky Wiggy, £5, another super chat, thank you, or €5. Gene McLeod, $10. Watch the Star Wars video. And I did hear call out the cops and start to move out to them. You know how cops can get. I am sure he did not want to be assaulted by the police too. Yeah, I want to get my hands on the police body cams. I assume they wear them in Lethbridge. I'm not sure of that. I got a lot of things on my plate, so I don't know how much time and effort I'm going to put into it, but I would be very curious if that young lady indeed did get a lawyer from her impotent boss. If she wants a lawyer, I think she should sue. I'm sorry. You're at a Star Wars store, you see someone in a stormtrooper outfit, and you go full roid rage, SWAT team? No. That brings the administration of justice into disrepute. Can you go to fightthefines.com? So, as you may know, I think you do know, because a lot of our viewers watch frequently. A couple weeks ago, we set up this page called fightthefines.com. And why don't you scroll down and we'll go from the bottom up. So go to the very bottom. Yeah, we even have more pages, but we're fighting Canada's social distancing fines. Here are our first 4 civil liberties cases. Free legal defense. So scroll up. I mean, we don't have to show all of them, but actually, why don't we do that? Go to the second page there. So let me give you a recap. So the Fight the Fines case number 1. Social distancing police fined a man $1,200 for feeding homeless people. I'm serious. So he was too close to people and there were more than 5 of them. Yeah, because there are homeless people on the street, they're hungry. He came to bring them food. They arrested him like he was holding some community picnic party or something. Fight the Fines case number 2. Pastor fined for holding a Passover dinner at his home. Fight the Fines case number 3. McMillan's Milk Store fined after installing plexiglass, adding foot traffic arrows because they didn't do it within 1 hour of being told. Fight the Fines case number 4. Retired carpenter fined for taking the dog out. Yeah, so he took the dog out to go pee in the parking lot. He literally encountered no one else. The cops gave him a huge fine. We broke no law. Oh, update. Yeah, he got another fine. We broke no law. Pastor threatened by police. Fight the Fines case number 5. Another Calgary street preacher fined feeding the homeless. Fight the Fine case number 6, college freshman skateboarder fined for using empty skate park. Police drop charges against the church. So these are all the cases we're taking. Fight the Fine's case number 7, fined after complying with bylaw officers at Trinity Bellwoods Park. So he went to the park, they said leave, he did, and they still fined him. Fight the Fine's case number 8, they put handcuffs on my mom. Ontario mother fined $800 on the playground. This is so infuriating. You want to call this video up? This made me so mad. I'm mad about that girl wearing the stormtrooper outfit. I'm mad. But here's a mom, a single mom with a 5-year-old daughter. Well, let's just let the tape do the talking. Take a look at this video.
We were on this swing for about 15 or we were here for about 15 or 20 minutes. She was just on the swing. We weren't hurting anyone. We were here by ourselves. The police showed up. 2 officers approached us and told us that we were breaking.
And they put handcuffs on my mom.
I told them that we weren't harming anyone, but that we needed to get outside and get some normality and just get some fresh air. We were talking for a little while, just like on a human to human level, explaining like where I was coming from and all of this mental health, the lockdown, 2 months being inside with my daughter with no support. They proceeded to call backup. The sergeant showed up here, same thing. I tried to discuss it with him. He didn't want to hear it. He grabbed my arm, took my backpack off, proceeded to put me in handcuffs, separated me from my daughter. I was taken up to the police vehicle where a cop did a body search on me, and it was very thorough and invasive. From there, they put me into the back of the cop car, and I didn't even know where my daughter was at that time. They went through all my things against my will. We were separated for about 20 minutes. He called me an idiot and yelled in my face. They finally came back and released me from the cop car, took my handcuffs off, and gave me an $880 ticket.
Imagine being separated from your 5-year-old daughter for 20 minutes. Imagine the terror she would face. Searched under your clothes. Sheila Gunreed, who did that report, said the mom told her that the 5-year-old daughter said, am I going to get a new mummy? As in, will I be put in a foster home? Imagine the terror there. By the way, I don't think it's legal for her to have been handcuffed, arrested, put in the car, or body searched. It's a ticket. It's a ticket. It's not a crime. It's like if you didn't put enough coins in the parking meter, you get a ticket. If that bylaw enforcement officer who's given you a ticket for a parking infraction then threw you against the car, handcuffed you, groped you, threw you in the back of the car, separated from your 5-year-old kid, yeah, no, buddy, you don't have that power. Furious. I'm furious. But in that case, I'm doing something about it. FightTheFines.com, we have presented 8 cases to you, as you've seen. That was case number 8. I think we have case number 9 in the pipeline for today. Is that right? I don't know if it's ready yet. I don't mind giving people a little sneak peek, even if we haven't published it yet, of case number 9. I don't know if you want to take a peek at our YouTube unlisteds. I would take a look. I would give it like a sneak preview to our people here if they wanted to see it. If it's ready, I don't know the status of it. I think we've got 11, or is it 12, or is it 13 cases in the system? So just to remind you how we do it. People fill out the form at FightTheFines.com. We got a form there. People give us their name, their email address, their phone number, and they tell us the detailed story. Then we have a lawyer, Sam Goldstein, review the form and call up the person and talk to them. Just sound out the case a bit, make sure it's on point. And then either Sam takes the case or he delegates it out to one of the lawyers we have around the country. We now have a lawyer in Calgary with 2 cases, Sarah Miller. We just sent a case to our Edmonton lawyer, Michael Swanberg. We just sent a couple cases to our Montreal lawyer, Jonathan Gordon, who I've just got to know. We have a New Brunswick case that I think Sam is taking, so we farm it out. Then once the lawyer who's taking the case talks to the client, one of our reporters, Sheila, David, Kean, whatever, talks to the client, interviews them, talks to the lawyer, interviews them, and then we put the video up. So it's a bit of a process. We want to make sure we get our facts right. We want to make sure it's on point with what we're doing here, civil liberties style. But we've published 8 of those cases. I think we've got a few more. Is there one that we haven't released yet? No. No, okay. I see there's other unpublished videos, but they're not on this storyline. There's one from David from Oakville. It's okay, sorry, it's an update on the pastor, right? Oh, it's an update on the rollerblades case, but we have not taken that case legally. Okay, I thought we would do something fun, and if we had one, we'd give people a sneak preview. But folks, Justin's just telling me in my ear, we don't have the next video ready to show, but I'm sure we will in a day or two. So I'm mad about that. And you know that New York City Police Benevolent Association? I think that's what they call their police union there. I think that's what that stands for. Or is it the Police Brotherhood Association or something? I don't. Benevolent Association. You know, New York in the spring, New York in the summer, it can get hot. And everyone's in those crowded apartments. Like New York is a city of apartments, right? People don't really have a backyard. Maybe they have a tiny balcony. Usually they don't. They maybe have a window. And it's so expensive, the real estate there. People's homes are small. One of the reasons why New York is such a great restaurant scene is because people's homes are so tiny, they don't want to cook. They want to get out of their house. They want to get out of their house, and they've got great restaurants, and you know, you can eat for cheap in New York. You can eat you can eat for $5 in New York. On the same street, you could eat for $50 or $500 even, probably. It's a great restaurant town, in part because people want to get the heck out of their tiny shoebox apartment. Some people never cook. Now, a lot of single people in New York, it's hard to shop for groceries and cook for one person. They're super busy. That's why it's the city of so many food delivery apps. It's just, you know, young single people, overworked, overtired, probably don't have any home ec skills anyways. So get DoorDash or Uber Eats to bring over something, and if you're eating at home, but also go out. And so people have been cooped up for a month and a half. Now the weather's nice, and people are saying, oh, okay, so if I'm not over 70, and if I don't have an underlying condition, we're okay. I mean, the big Navy hospital ships that Trump sent to LA and New York, they're done. They were never used. They were never used. I don't know if you remember, the Army Corps of Engineers set up an emergency hospital in the Javits Center in New York, and I forget what the name of the equivalent in LA was. So the US Army came in and in like 3 days transformed these huge convention centers into overflow hospitals. So the idea was move the regular patients out of the hospital into these overflow hospitals, into this Navy hospital ship to clear out the beds for the virus. That was the plan. They never used them because that curve that we were all told about never happened. So New Yorkers know this. New Yorkers have learned that I don't think anyone under 30 has died if they didn't have an underlying condition. Maybe like one person has, and that's a tragedy, but you can't coop up 8.6 million New Yorkers for that. So New York is a city of parks, Bryant Park, Central Park. People getting out and about. People are out on the streets. People are out on the patios and balconies, patios and sidewalks. You're going to tell New York's finest, that NYPD, that their job is to scold New Yorkers? No, that's not their job. Their job is to stop crime and probably to chase down the thousands of prisoners that Bill de Blasio and others let out. So I love the fact that the New York City Police Union is saying, yeah, no, we're not going to be the scold police. We have too much reputation at stake, too much brand equity, a leftist would say, or a corporatist would say. The New York Police Department knows that their public support is based on their conduct every day. And they're not going to be disgraceful errand boys for Bill de Blasio. I'm very proud of the New York City Police Department, even though I have no connection to them. I feel an affection and an affinity to them. And I don't think that they would throw a 16-year-old girl down to the ground and bloody her nose for dressing like a stormtrooper. And I don't think they would take a mom away from her 5-year-old daughter, grope her, handcuff her, put her in the back of a cop car, because she was on a swing. No, I just don't think the finest police force in the world would do that. I'm not saying they never overreact and never make a mistake. They're a huge police force, one of the largest in the world. So yes, of course, they're going to make mistakes, as everyone does. But I think in general, they're smarter than that. There's a couple of super chats, and then I'm going to show you. I talked about who dies and who doesn't die from the virus, and any death is a tragedy. But every day, thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people die around the world by various causes, and that's life. It's the cycle of life, the circle of life. Part of life is death. We want to stop unnatural deaths. We want to fight disease, especially if it's a pandemic. It's fine to have a public health approach, but I think, and I'll show you a chart that addresses that, but first let me talk about some super chats. Troy S., $10. What are your thoughts about CN suing the railroad blockaders? Thanks to you and your awesome crew working hard and reporting the truth. Well, Troy, it's funny you say that. I did a whole show on that. You know, every day at 8 p.m. Eastern time I do a show. Now, it's behind a paywall, but it's only $8 a month. Or if you buy a whole year, it's $80 for the whole year. So what does that work out to a month? It's not much. If you go to rebelnews.com, and you can just subscribe, I think it's in the top right corner there, it's like $8 a month. So I did this whole show, and I posted the actual, yeah, thank you. So you can see the top right there. Can you click that little search bar? Yeah, so there you go. Now, click the search bar and type in CN Rail. Because I did a whole show on it. Yeah, there we go. Good news, CN is suing the railway blockaders. Remember the railway blockades, blah, blah, blah. So I go and scroll down a bit. I think we have the lawsuit there. Yeah, so you see that there? I had our lawyers get an actual copy of the actual lawsuit. And we put it on the page there. So you can see that. And scroll to the very top of the page if you please. So if you want to see my commentary, you see it says premium content and it looks like a little lock there. $8 a month to unlock the good stuff. Now, I'm not saying the free stuff isn't the good stuff, but the premium stuff is $8 a month. Okay, let me try my Russian. Digoron Kavkaz. Did I say that right? Yeah, is that right? I got that right? Digoron Kavkaz. Please interview Dr. Shiva and Judy Mitkovitz. I see those names bandied around a lot, and I want to do more due diligence on them before inviting them. Oh, they were in the Epic Times documentary. Yes, thank you. I remember Judy was. Super chats. Gilded Angels, $5. Thank you very much. From Cheeky Wiki. Hello, Ezra. Canadian Cheeky Wiki here, living in France, but constant interest in what's going on in Canada. Question for you. As the pressure goes to close down free speech channels, isn't it time that Rebel News got together a conglomerate with other truth-speaking channels on the server that cannot be taken down? So many with big viewing numbers like yours have been removed. Alex Jones, Ike, and many others on this side of the pond too. Reason given is usually conspiracy theory, but what is a conspiracy theory but a different opinion to the norm? Conspiracy theory is sometimes the reason, but often they trump up some violence angle or some threat. I think that's what finally the fig leaf of their excuse was taking out Alex Jones. They claimed he made some physical threat against someone. They didn't. I saw the tape in question. He was just asking questions of, I think, a CNN reporter in Capitol Hill. They'll find some reason or another. We were just talking earlier today about how Tommy Robinson was kicked off TikTok. I enjoyed following Tommy for the week or so he was on TikTok. I don't have the app on my phone. I deleted it. But I watched it on a website. And he didn't do anything close to controversial. He was just persona non grata, and they dumped him. So, yeah, they don't actually need a reason. They'll find any reason. And because it's being done secretly and without transparency by a big company, it's not like you have a legal process that you can appeal. It's terrible. Ryan Shant, $7. Are Muslims and so-called refugees still receiving special treatment? Where are their fines? I don't know if any mosques are open in Canada. A few weeks ago, we had our David Menzies check out a church, a mosque, and a synagogue, and all of them were closed. So I don't know if any are open. There's one more super chat. I think I spotted there. Max Leitner, £5. Hi Ezra, I'm 15 years old in the UK. Please get in touch with me as I need to talk to Tommy. Thanks. Okay, well, Max, I don't know how to get in touch with you because I don't think I have the ability to communicate to you through a chat like that. But if you send me an email to ezra@rebelnews.com and say, this is Max, I've chatted with you via live stream, I can zip you a quick note. Let's check the time. It's 12:50. Here's a chart I tweeted today en français, so pardon my French, as they say. This was tweeted by Andre Arthur, former Quebec MP. So let me do my attempt at translation. Will you forgive me? The cost of the lethality, or the tariff of lethality from the infection and the flu infection, the grip is the flu, and the COVID-19 by age. So this is the chart or the table of lethality by flu infections and by COVID-19 by age. I think that's not bad translating. So grip is the flu, right? So 0 to 19 ans is years. So if you have the virus, and remember the French use a comma instead of decimal. Just go to the bottom. I want to show the source of this. Scroll down to the bottom of this image if you can. Source, the Pasteur Institute is the source for COVID-19, and the Centers for Disease Control, medium of the seasons 2015 and 2019 for the flu. Okay, so that's the sources for this, and this was tweeted by Andre Arthur. So if you're under 20, if you're 0 to 19 years of age, the lethality, the likelihood of dying from the virus is 1/1000th of 1%. So literally, if you have 100,000 people, one of them will die. If you have 100,000 cases, so it just simply doesn't kill minors. And compared to the grip, the flu, 0 to 4 years old, still very, very low, 0.007%. Remember the comma in Francais is how they use a decimal. And 5 to 17 years old, 0.004%. So still tiny, 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 but more than for the virus. Okay, so now let's look people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. Higher, but still very, very low. If you're in your 20s, you have a 1 in 10,000 chance of dying if you get the cough, if you get the Rona. If you're in your 30s, you have a 2 in 10,000 chance. If you're in your 40s, like me, you have a 5 in 10,000 chance. Very low. And on the right-hand side where it says grip, that's French for flu. Again, it's not broken down in the same specificity, but the chart, I think, does a good job. If you're between 18 and 49 years old, you have a 2 chances out of 10,000. That's what 0.02% means. 2% would mean 2 chances out of 100. 0.2% would mean 2 chances out of 1,000. 0.02% is 2 chances out of 10,000 you're going to die. Both the virus and the flu are extremely non-lethal if you're under 50. And that's according to the Pasteur Institute and the CDC. Now for 50-year-olds to 60, 50 to 59, it's a little bit higher. It's 0.2%. So that's not nothing. So if 100 people get it, if 1,000 people get the cough, age 50 to 59, 2 are going to die, and that ain't good. And if you're in your 60s, if 1,000 people get the cough, 8 are going to die. Almost 1%. That ain't good. I wouldn't want to roll a dice. Now it's less than 1%. 99% of people in their 60s who get the Rona don't die. 99.2% survive. Still, if someone said, Ezra, here's a gun, we're going to shoot at you, and there's only a 0.8% chance there's a bullet in it, I would not be thrilled with that. And you can see that's higher than for the grip, la grippe. So the flu for 50 to 64-year-olds It's pretty low, 0.0%, 0.06% chance of lethality. Very low, isn't it? But look what happens in your 70s and 80s. Now it's a very serious business, isn't it? If you're in your 70s, there's a 2.2% chance the Rona is going to kill you if you get it. So if 45 people in their 70s get the Rona, statistically one of them is going to die. And if you're over 80, I got to tell you, take good care, because this information from the Pasteur Institute says you've got an 8.3% chance of dying. Remember, that's what how the French do the decimal. So that tells me that if there's 12 people in their 80s, put it up just for, keep it up for about, I'm going to mention one more thing. So if there's 12 people in their 80s who get this, one's going to die. 1 in 12 will die. That is bad. Compared to the grip, the flu, 65 years plus, where you got about 1% chance. I'd like to see those numbers broken down for 70 plus, 80 plus. So this tells us two things. Number one, if you are a young person, you have almost no risk. If you're under 20, you have as good as no risk. 1 in 100,000. That's, you almost have more risk of being hit by lightning. You absolutely have more risk of getting into a car accident. Absolutely. So really, if you're under 50, get to work. Get off the couch and get to work, especially if you're under 40. If you're under 40, you've got no risk here. If you're under 50, you've got next to no risk unless you got some severe underlying issues. In your 50s, be careful. In your 60s, be careful. In your 70s. But let me ask you one last thing. Does this say that people in their 70s and 80s are at risk? Well, that's what it shows on the face of it. But what if what this really shows is that there have been huge clusters of deaths in seniors' homes, and so the people there happen to be in their 80s and 70s? Okay, take it down, thanks. Because we've seen in Quebec, in Ontario, that you have a seniors' home, or a nursing home it used to be called. That there was one in Bob Cage in Ontario, 31 deaths at one facility. Now, is that because of their age, or is that because of the one facility? Because they had people who were working there who were sick, that got every single person sick, and they didn't have proper conditions, and those people went to... So is that a function of the age of the patient, or is it just that you had a cluster of patients unfortunate enough to go to that nursing home? I don't know. Either answer is not good, but it would be good to learn the facts. But the point I'm trying to tell you by going through that as meticulously as I did was that there is no reason whatsoever to have people under 20, under 30, under 40 staying at home. No reason at all. If you want to tell people to wear a mask on the subway, great. By the way, make the mask available for them. Why shouldn't people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s be allowed to go back to work? I don't get it. Why shouldn't they be allowed to go to the... In fact, I saw a study, I don't have it handy, and I don't propose to make you look forward in the 2 minutes we got left, that there has been not one single reported case in North America of someone catching the cough in open air, outside. It's always indoors. So telling people not to go to the park is actually sentencing them to stay in their poorly ventilated, close quarters homes. The opposite of the right thing to do. Nan Martin, 25 bucks. What is the lab in Manitoba researching? Yeah, that is a good question. That lab in Manitoba was infiltrated by Chinese nationals, one of whom was arrested and frog marched out of the building by the RCMP, sent back to China. All right, my friends, it's 12:59, and I want to do two things. We have made a policy decision here that every single show we're going to end with a dog video to help raise your spirits, and that will be the last thing we show today. But I hear in my ear from Justin that we have an image sent to us moments ago by David Menzies, who went down to Hyde Park, was it, or Trinity Bellwoods, one of those nice parks downtown? Probably Hyde Park. Mr. Mayor, tear down this wall. Do you see that stupid fence that the mayor put around those pretty trees? That stupid, stupid fence. It reminds me of the Joni Mitchell song, they paved paradise, put up a parking lot, took all the trees and put them in a tree museum and charged all the people $1.50 just to see them. So Mayor John Tory of Toronto, who himself does not socially distance, doesn't wear a mask, jetted over to London for a party. He'll live his life. You're not going to tell him what to do. But he put a bloody wall around those pretty trees because he was worried Torontonians might actually get out and smell the trees. So David went out there with that sign, Mr. Mayor, tear down this wall. And he affixed it to the sign. And you can see fightthefines.com is the website. I'm excited to see David standing outside without handcuffs on because we thought there was a chance that he would be arrested. But I think you'd have to be a pretty dumb cop to arrest David for doing that, knowing how much legal firepower we got behind us. So I'm glad to see David is not in handcuffs, although anything can happen in 10 minutes' time, but it looks like David's okay. We're going to keep fighting because, that's one of our mottos here. I mean, our real motto is telling the other side of the story. But my sort of catchphrase that I use at the end of my daily show is keep fighting for freedom. And we're going to do that. It's not just a slogan, it's what we do. And we've shown you the 8 cases we've taken. And I might see if I can get in touch with this girl in Lethbridge. Because if she wants a lawyer, I'll give her one. I'll give her one. Absolutely. And I'll ask you to help me crowdfund it. So don't let me pretend like it's coming out of my own pocket. We crowdfund lawyers. We crowdfunded lawyers for these 8 cases. We're going to keep doing it. All right, my friends, that's the show. Why don't we end? This will be the last time you see me. Let me leave you with something far more pleasant. This was hand curated by Justin. I have not seen this yet. It'll be a delightful surprise for me and you. I'll see you later today at 8 p.m., but until then, enjoy Justin's hand-picked dog video. See you later.